A police officer in Texas was jailed this week for knocking a woman's teeth out during an illegal arrest he made in late May. James Angelo Palermo is charged with aggravated assault by a public servant for the May 29th incident in which he allegedly slammed a pedestrian against a car. This is so good. He pulled somebody else over, and then when another woman was walking by the crosswalk, he's like, "Hey, what are you walking on the crosswalk for? What are you doing? You're obstructing my arrest with this other chick." Grabs her, asks for identification. She's like, "What are you talking about?" Swings her around, slams her on the ground, breaks 2 of her teeth, and gives her a concussion.
What do we think here? I mean, obviously this is, as Bush would say, speculation. But what's wrong with this guy? Is it like a power thing? Is it roid rage? Is it something like weirdly sexual?
I would guess the woman was not white who he did this to.
Oh.
I would guess. I'm not sure.
That's funny because, look, we don't... So I would have guessed that she was attractive. That he had like some sort of like... weird pent-up rage in that direction. It's like, oh, I'm going to manhandle this woman, you know?
Oh, okay.
So now it doesn't really matter because what he did is horribly wrong either way, and so he should be punished, and he is.
Right.
But
that's the weirdest thing when you're around cops, right? You're like, oh, you want to be like compliant, right? But at the same time, if you don't know they're going to slam your head into a car or something, like you don't want to be so compliant.
Right.
Like, so when do I fight them? When do I give a little resistance? When do you? Because I've been in those situations where cops want to mess you up, you know, like that. And so you never know. Like, when do I resist? How do I stop from getting my teeth knocked out? Like that woman. That woman should have just ran.
Well, that's interesting. No, you can't run.
Yeah, they kind of say never.
I mean, if you're unfortunately, if you run into a maniac like this,
you're screwed.
You're screwed.
Yeah.
He's going to knock your teeth out because if you're running, he'll shoot you. I mean, he's crazy, right?
Yeah.
And then then the court will assume you're wrong,
yes,
etc. And at least in this case, it's very obvious that he was wrong.
Yeah.
So that's
how
why.
Did they figure out that? Do you know how they figured out he was wrong? How did they just do an investigation?
I think they looked at her mouth.
Oh.
No, I mean, I think there were eyewitnesses.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
The person he had pulled over.
Yeah, exactly. She had the best seat in the house. And from what I understand, jail and prison isn't a really comfortable place for police officers.
Yeah,
who've been
I mean, look,
arrested.
the good news of the story is that he was arrested.
Yeah.
Like, this is an assault. It's clearly an assault, but usually when the cops do it, they're like, well, you
Paperwork.
We'll
look
suspend
into
him,
it.
we'll do a thing, he's on desk duty, whatever. But they actually went to his house and arrested him.
Yeah, not just you're fired, but you're also arrested.
Yeah.
And
Which
so
is
that's
nice.
great. That's how the system's supposed to work. Because you can't ever weed out all the bad cops. It's really hard, right?
Yeah.
And we understand, and you don't know who's going to do that necessarily ahead of time. But all we ask for is if they do it, that you actually punish them like they were the rest of us, like they were a normal citizen.
Yep.
And they did that here, so they should be commended.